Week 2, Real Talk, Matthew McConaughey, Edgar Ramirez, Gold. What'd you think?
I thought it was good.
It was a good movie.
I really enjoyed it.
I honestly,
stick
we
with
can
it.
say it. We've disagreed with critics before.
I think in a day or two, more qualms might come to me.
Right.
But as of right now, I liked it.
I can't imagine myself getting any colder on this movie.
It dragged on a little bit. That's like off the top of my head. First issue with it is it was too long.
It was a little too long, and especially on a Friday. You know, time is money, literally.
Money is time.
But on the other hand, you gotta give it up for Matthew McConaughey. The physical transformation,
body transformation, dedication,
very method.
Yeah.
Right? Very Oscar potential.
He went at that role.
And Edgar Ramirez was also really good.
He was really cool.
Bryce Dallas Howard, great job. Very interesting story.
Really interesting. See, not a lot of qualms.
Not a lot of qualms right now.
It's these critics, man.
There's maybe some stuff that I want to talk about cinematography, but
we do have some stuff to talk about.
We're going to keep that for 2 days in the other studio.
Otherwise, you just exit the video after this.
With our new guest, Brady. He's our first guest on Real Talk ever. I don't know where he is right now, but I'm sure...
He watched the movie with us.
Yeah, he had to head out. But on the other hand, we'll see you there. New studio. Then we'll go on a drive.
Yeah, man.
Hey guys, welcome to Real Talk, Week 2. I'm your host, Tyler Funderburk. I have my co-host with me, Jake Phillips, world's greatest co-host, and our very first guest on Real Talk, Brady Folwkes.
Welcome.
Wow, I feel welcomed.
That was very unenthusiastic. I'm sorry.
I do.
We'll play audio. We'll play an audio of audience clapping.
Yeah.
Okay, we can put
That'll be
that
good.
in post. This week we saw Gold with Matthew McConaughey and Edgar Ramirez, and I'd like to start off with Brady, his opinion on it. What'd you think?
Overall, first off, I don't really consider myself like necessarily a movie buff. So there may be some things that a little less professional opinion, but I feel like that allows me to be a little more honest and genuine. So I would say that overall, I would give it a thumbs up. That's not the rating system, but I liked it. I thought it was entertaining. And
what are you doing with your other thumb?
With my other thumb, I am typing in when to see another movie to kind of make up for it. So, okay. But one thumb is up. So
one thumb is up. Yeah. So that's a very rave review. Jake, what'd you think?
I thought it was good. I thought it was much better than Split, which we saw last week.
That's true.
I think it was way more entertaining. The plot was better. I had more fun just at the movies when I went to go see it, rather than Split, which I was just like that, like the pain scale faces. It was like,
it was a little cringy, especially compared to this movie. I actually really enjoyed it. This was like one of my favorite movies we've seen for Real Talk. I mean, we have seen some stuff that is like just incredible, like Arrival, but I mean, it was fun. It was like a fun little flick to go to on a Friday night. I didn't feel the need to like necessarily rush out of the theater. We did say that it was a little long.
It was at least 30 minutes too long.
I'll give you that. That was probably one of my, if I'm being honest, that was probably my first thought was, this is a little lengthy. Like, I need to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I want to stick around, which is good that I want to stick around to see how it ends up. And I don't want to miss anything. But it was a little lengthy.
It was. And I mean, like, there was some really interesting stuff in it, though, for like, even though it did drag on a little bit, I thought one of the really cool parts was like the distinction between money and gold. Like gold, like that's the title of the movie, obviously, so it's all about gold. But like the way that they have monologues about gold that are actually like really interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, the way they like you could tell like Kenny Wells, which is Matthew McConaughey's character, was like really invested in this, and I think that's how you got more of a connection with him. Was like kind of through those speeches,
right? And that was definitely the division that they were making between the Wall Street people and between the people who were actually hands-on,
the prospectors,
right. And that was what I think the monologue you were referring to.
Yeah. So, in other words, though, there were some things like the cinematography was a little weird at some points.
Yeah, if I'm being nitpicky,
the music was a little weird.
The music was good. The main theme song was awesome.
Yeah, that was good. But like, there were some scenes in it where they were trying to do like, the fortunate son. You're like flying the helicopters into Vietnam moment, and it was just not. It didn't.
And that was a total flop.
It was.
I feel like those were the times where you could definitely set the tone for the movie all over, like to have a great score or to have a great soundtrack. And I feel like those are the moments where it flopped. Although Jake, you're right. The little bass line.
Was awesome.
Every time you came on, you were like, I don't care. This is the 5th time I've heard it.
But being nitpicky, like some of the shots were like, they seem blurry because they're out of focus, and then like the score not matching up, and that's what made it like kind of, you're like, oh yeah, this is not going to win an Oscar.
Yeah, I mean,
so those type of things like brought you down, but for the most part, I just really enjoyed being in the theater.
Right. It had all those beats for like what could have been a movie that was like an Oscar potential,
like A+.
Yeah, but somewhere along the line, the tone got messed up, and it was like, is this a movie about like business, or is it a movie about like a gold rush? Like, and then you don't really know where you are in time at some points, and it's just kind of like, it was weird. It was weird in a lot of ways, but even so, it was still entertaining, like we said. And Matthew McConaughey and Edgar Ramirez, like they were like Hall and Oates, like such a cool little duo.
They were a great duo. I think the acting as a whole was good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I really liked Bryce Dallas Howard. She was her character was kind of weird, but I think she played it well.
Yeah, and I'll give you that. I think we were talking before, and it was like I think anything where it might have been a personal disagreement or a personal not my favorite thing wasn't so much her as it was the character that she had to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, seems like it was like a little B plot thrown in there.
Yeah.
It's probably, I mean, as we have said, this movie is based on true events. Like, this kind of mining scandal did happen in the early 90s when the movie is based. So it's probably just based on his wife, Kenny Wells, the real Kenny Wells, who's named David Walsh. It's probably based on his wife. But, like, Edgar played a character called Mike, and he was like this genius geologist, and his character was like a James Bond miner. It was so cool.
He did definitely, between the two of them, have the most amount of swagger, if you will.
He was cool.
Between the duo, the dynamic duo,
he
that I feel like
room.
It definitely had. He was the one that brought that to that group.
Yeah. And Kenny was just like, he was an interesting character as well, but in a different way.
Yeah,
it was interesting because it was like, Matthew McConaughey like went through this insane physical transformation.
Yeah.
It looks like he probably had to wear some type of tooth prosthetic because his tooth is sticking.
Yeah,
through
which
the
if you're making that much money, why not get that fixed?
Yeah, that's true.
I was confused the whole time.
Actually, I mean,
would have been the first thing I did.
That brings me to a point though of like one of our main complaints was that what you were saying earlier is it was like, are they rich or poor? Like, let me know.
Right. Well, and it was almost like, and I think I'm talking about the same thing, is where it was like, it was just like rags, riches, back and forth. That it
became like one big line.
Right.
Or like one big thing.
And I think this is part of what you were saying just a second ago, Tyler. And I want to hear what you have to say more about this, Jake, is that, like the fact that what was the movie about? I feel like walking away from that is probably one of the biggest things where, I mean, I'm no expert, but I feel like if you're going to win an Oscar, it needs to be, this was so impactful because of this. But was it about gold, or was it about the dude sticking by his family name? Because that's what it seemed like I don't want to give away any plot points, but when he made a big deal about the name and the names being on there rather than money or even gold at that point, it seemed like. So that was one of the parts for me when I walked out and I was like, that was good, but as I processed more, I was like, what the heck was this thing really even about?
Yeah, you don't know if it's like a success story or just like an adventure story. It was kind of hard to keep up with. But like the biggest thing for me is just like it was good because of how satisfying that ending was.
Yep.
Oh, that's true. I mean,
you have to stay to the end.
Obviously, we can't spoil it.
Yeah.
But like, we can say that like
I just wanted to high five you guys.
It ties it up in a nice little bow, and I remember being in the theater and like just hearing Brady audibly react to it. He's like, "Oh no, oh my goodness," and it was really, but it was a good ending. I think the movie, all in all, was probably just about like the American dream. You know, it was like this dude he's
on his deathbed,
right?
Yeah, on his deathbed, the last cent that he has to make his dream come true.
Right, exactly, and Mike is this character that's just like, I mean, I don't even know really what. It just seems like true to his final word at the very end,
right?
With all the coolness, all the like intelligence, he was just like, he's that guy.
Yeah,
he's got your back. The Hall and Oates, like I said, like that name a more iconic duo, Kenny and Mike.
Yeah.
So I want to hear you guys' numerical score on this. We always like math.
7.
Real Talk. 7?
Straight up 7.
Yeah.
Mine worked out to be a 7 as well.
And mine did as well. Trip 7.
Lucky number 7.
Everyone is winning the lottery today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for Real Talk this week. We'll see you next week when we see Rings. Now let's go take a drive, Jake.
All right.
We're going to leave you behind, Brady.
Brady, it was great to have you. You'll be back, though.
You'll be back.
He is going to be back.
Couple weeks, we're going to go see Lego Batman. He's passionate about it.
Very passionate about it. Big Will Arnett fan. All right. See you there. All right. Back again with the Sunday drives.
Yep.
Brady had to go. He was fun to have as a guest.
Super fun.
Definitely started us off on a good note with the guests.
Yep.
I'm really excited for that part of the show. Next week, we're seeing Rings. And if you know anything about horror movies, basically ever, Ring was like, it's just a cultural phenomenon. Like, everyone knows about that movie, about the girl in the TV.
Yeah, it was the golden age of horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you got Ring, you have Signs, The Sixth Sense, When Darkness Falls. All of those movies are like,
you know, just like those classics.
The classic horror movies.
The Scary Movie makes fun of these. Like, that's when you know.
Yeah, and Ring is right in there with them.
Right. So, you had some information about it.
So first off, you actually have a pretty good actor in there with Vincent D'Onofrio.
Loved him in Daredevil.
He's played some really interesting characters recently.
And he's no stranger to us because we did review his character in Magnificent Seven.
And I think we both gave him we liked it.
Glowing review for his character, at least.
And then the director is F. Javier Gutierrez, and I don't know much about him.
Yeah, just maybe he'll be like Inuartu, you know, like just one of these.
Oh, you're thinking?
No, I was kidding.
So you think Rings is his Birdman?
Right, or his Revenant? Yeah. Okay, that was a bad joke. But we're gonna see you there Wednesday at noon. But in the meantime, please check out our Twitter. And
definitely follow us on Twitter. We're going to start putting a couple more like exclusive things on there. So it's definitely something worth checking out.
That's basically Jake's shtick, and I just kind of like am along for the ride on that.
Yeah.
But we'll have a new guest next week, even though we will sorely miss Brady. Tabitha, actually the original Real Talk host.
Which, if you watch the very first episode ever produced, Tabitha's there.
Which got taken down by YouTube.
Yeah, we're the edgy side.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So we'll see you there Wednesday at
noon, not midnight.
Not midnight. See you there.